Hey, what's up everybody? My name is Lila or Sugar.
And I'm Cal or Starburst.
And we are here in Lone Pine, California, resupplying on the PCT, as you can see. And we just finished a section from Meadows South over to Kearsarge Pass and then headed into town to resupply. So we're just gonna give you a quick trail conditions update for all you PCT hikers out there who are heading into the Sierras soon.
And if you know someone who's on the PCT, feel free to send them to this for safety purposes. This is the meadow leaving Meadows South. No snow, but you can see some in the distance.
Like at legit places, you know?
Right. This was day 1, also pretty comparable for day 2, heading northbound from Kennedy Meadows. As you can see, barely any snow on the trail itself. Great conditions leading up to Whitney. This is Guitar Lake at the base of the climb from Mount Whitney. We began our ascent of Whitney around 6 a.m. There was snow, but we did not need microspikes for the majority of the ascent. The snow froze pretty well, and as you can see, it's pretty bare on the majority of the trail. Okay, that was the second time on Whitney, coming right across there, that we could have used microspikes, but we didn't. And for this one, we are putting on our spikes. The trail's over there. Okay, so you have to come across this, and you also switch back down there where those tracks are, and once more kind of down there, and it's pretty steep, so if you're afraid of heights, it's probably not for you. But what we're thinking, if you do, if you are afraid of heights or you can't come through here, it feels unsafe, you can just rock scramble down the rocks that way. Okay, because the trail is here, and you can just cut down. Normally you would not recommend cutting a trail. It can cause erosion. It's really bad trail etiquette. But when it comes to safety, your safety is a priority. So feel free to just cut straight down. Instead of going through all the switchbacks, just straight down. This is almost to the top of the ascent, basically turning left at the turnoff for the portal. It's pretty tame. Did not wear microspikes for the majority of this. Definitely want microspikes for this part. Kind of goes up this side of the hill like this, overlooking the valley. Yeah, microspikes are advised. This, of course, is an instance in which an ice axe would have been handy. We were just extremely cautious, but these sections of the trail are few and far between. Now I'm going to show you post-Whitney. Forgive the double glasses. This is the trail. We are wearing microspikes for this. This is on the way to Forester, about 5 miles away. So this is the first part of the PCT that we've needed them for since Kennedy Meadows, probably, right? Yep. Cool. Most people just kind of slid down this. It seems a little too steep for us, honestly. That's how steep it is. So we're just gonna switch back till we get to the bottom. A major concern for early Sierra hikers is river crossings. So far, we have not had any issues with high water. This is the beginning of the ascent for Forester Pass, the highest point on the PCT. So heading up Forester, this is Forester Pass. There has been snow, but we've actually not used our microspikes because we started early enough that the snow was hard enough. But yeah, there's pretty consistent snow the whole time. There's way more snow at the bottom. Okay, that's the trail, if you can see it. It just passes right over all that snow. Okay, and that. So you might need microspikes at some point. But if you start early enough on the ascent or heading northbound, you can get away with it. Okay, so I am almost at the top of Forester Pass here, still not wearing microspikes. However, you'll see in a minute that the very tippy top of the pass is quite icy, treacherous, and steep. We made it using just micro spikes, but we do highly recommend using an ice axe. Right there, you can see that's the trail, and it's straight up ice. Other side, very snowy. The switchbacks kind of disappear. You can see there where people have glissaded down, just straight down. I'm going to zoom in on it right there. You can see those tracks. It's a shortcut, but be careful, please. Again, strongly recommend an ice axe for safety to break a fall or something on this side of Forester. If you make the pass in the morning, the snow should still be pretty crunchy. You can see people's tracks there. And the more people that pass through these mountains, the safer it will get. We did see tracks passing over a frozen lake. It's not this lake, but please do not walk over lakes. The later in the season it gets, the more it will thaw and the more likely it can be that the ice will break. We are almost at the top of Kearsarge Pass. Pretty good, no snow. A little bit on the sides, a little more down at the bottom. We took off our micro spikes halfway through the climb. Damn, is it beautiful though. Here we are, made it to Kearsarge Pass. Coming down into Onion Valley, you might need your micro spikes, but other than that, it's pretty smooth sailing. Enjoy Lone Pine. Hey, we are here in Lone Pine. Great town. A lot warmer here than it was in the Sierras. Right over those mountains in the background, there is a lot of snow, particularly north of Forester. Okay, we came down Forester yesterday. Today is the 28th of April. Yesterday would have been the 27th. Okay, and going up Forester, as I mentioned in the last clip, wasn't too bad. We didn't even need micro spikes until the very end. But the very tippy top of the pass was pretty treacherous, pretty icy. Definitely needed micro spikes, preferably an ice axe. We passed with no ice axe, but we did earlier this morning purchase ice axes in Lone Pine for the rest of the Sierras, because on the other side of Forester, how was that?
Yeah, there's just a whole bunch more, even on the descent of Forester. It's just a, sort of snow field. And you can't even see the trail. There's no switchbacks to be seen. So, yeah, we pretty much just, slid our way down and sort of ran our way straight down the mountain, which was really fun. And then just walking through that whole valley, it was all covered in snow. So expect to be walking on snow for pretty much the rest of that day. And then obviously we headed up towards Bullfrog Lake, towards the lakes to
Pass, yeah.
Yeah, Bullfrog Pass.
Kearsarge
to go
Pass.
to Kearsarge to come down here. So yeah, we pretty much had our spikes on for most of the rest of the day, with the exception of the climb up to Bullfrog Lake, right?
Yeah, so at a little bit higher elevation on some of the passes, including Kearsarge itself, right at the top the snow is melted, but then pretty much for the rest of the mountain, pretty heavily covered in snow. As always, passing through snow as early as possible is preferable. It's safer, it's easier, because we were heading up Kearsarge around 2 o'clock to 3 o'clock, and it was pretty slushy by then. So we anticipate the snow conditions will get worse the further we travel north. Mammoth, which is our next resupply, we're budgeting about 20 miles a day, but we expect those to be pretty difficult 20-mile days, probably lots of snow from what we could tell. So Southern Sierras, very passable, very safe, looking great. It's gonna be fun, but north of Kearsarge Pass, the pass itself at the top, is going to be pretty snowy, and it's just it gets harder throughout the day as it melts, but also depending on when you're watching this video, the more it will have melted by then. Should be a little safer, but definitely want to be careful of avalanches. Make sure you know avalanche safety, sort of the basics. Make sure you know how to self-arrest with an ice axe. We were unsure if we would need ice axes, but it has become obvious to us that it's the best thing to do. It's the responsible thing to do, just in case. Better safe than sorry. We're going back up Kearsarge tomorrow. heading to Mammoth, and we will update you on the conditions north of that as soon as we get service.
Yeah, and also make sure you have extra food with you too. You know, it is slow going, especially once the sun starts to soften up the snow in the afternoon. So you might not get as far as you thought you would get. So having that extra food, not only just in case you have to stay or keep, hiking for an extra day, but also because you end up just burning a whole bunch of calories. Just being out there in the cold weather burns calories, and then the extra work that you have to do just to take each step on that slushy snow can cost you. So pack some extra snacks.
Yes, if ever there was a time for caution and safety and disaster preparedness, it would be for this section, not because it's particularly dangerous or treacherous, but just to be safe rather than sorry. But you can do it. We're gonna do it.
You can do it.
You got this. Feel free to ask us any questions.